Hello, everyone. I think we're just about ready to get started. My name is Christine Eltz, and I'm going to be taking you through creating your first learning portal with ClickLearn. We have lots of material to cover. I'm sure that there's going to be people that'll be jumping in as we go along. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and just do a little bit of housekeeping here. Again, if you've been looking to join this session for creating your first learning portal, before we begin, I just want to remind you to kindly keep your mic muted unless the presenter or someone would ask you to speak. But we also have our chat section. So you notice my blue arrow going off to the right. Just make sure if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them into that chat section. And we'll do our best to answer them in this session. And if we can't answer them in this session, we will be able to aggregate all of those details and we'll put it together. We'll probably send you a link out to our community page where you'll find all of the answers to the questions that have been posed for all of our sessions today. There is at least a 5-minute break between sessions, so if you've run out to grab that Coke for the next hour or get some fresh air, come on back in. There'll be another break at the end of this session as well to take you on to the next. This conference and all of them that you've been participating with today, they are being recorded. They will be distributed. As I said, either you'll get an email with a link or we'll send you out to our community blog. All of our recordings are hosted on our YouTube channel. Yay, we're on YouTube. If you do want to schedule any kind of a private meeting or if you have any questions for me personally, go back out to the hub where you're out to the lobby, where there's a little chat bubble in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. You'll be able to pose all your questions there. We'll get back to you as quickly as we can. And again, if you need any technical help, email or live chat, go to the hub and enter your information there. Do we have a question? The audio is fading in and out. Let me go ahead, hold on. I'm coming to you from our Tampa, Florida location. Let me just get out of my presentation and take a moment really quick, one more time. And hopefully that helped. So sometimes it's those little things, those little details. Thank you. We always want everybody to be able to participate. And then without further ado, let's get back into our slide right here that we're looking at. So are we really going to do this? Are we going to record a work process? Are we going to edit that recording to my specifications? Are we going to create a book to put my materials in? Are we setting up a live assistant? Creating a shelf, a learning portal to put my books on, and produce and publish my learning portal, all in 30 minutes time. We're going to do that. The clock is ticking, so let's go ahead and get started right now. A couple of things that we need, of course, is going to be your ClickLearn Studio application, which you should be looking at here, and this is my sandbox environment for our CRM. So we're going to be using this as our example today. And I'm going to go ahead and get started right into creating our materials. Here, for all of you Click learners out there, I'm hoping that you might pick up a little something new here. And for those of you that are completely new to the application, seeing this for the first time, I'm really excited to be able to show this to you all. From here, up in our upper left-hand corner is where the magic begins. We have our new button. Got so excited. So you'll be able to create a new recording. That's the work instructions. So you've already done your preparatory work. You've got, whether it's a spreadsheet or even if it's just a handwritten outline of what the steps are that you need to record the process. And that's what ClickLearn is all about. You create that recording first. And from that recording is when we're going to generate 7 different learning formats. And we're going to do that simultaneously. So you don't have to worry about having a video editor out. You don't have to worry about having your PowerPoint open to create anything or a Word document. From our recording, ClickLearn is going to do that all. We also are going to have a look at creating a book and a shelf. We're not going to talk about any of the inside help today. That would take a whole nother session. But to get started here, we're going to get started with our recording. And from the recording, we have all of these different platforms that ClickLearn interacts with. We like to call them connectors. And you can see right here in the middle, we have a very robust list of connectors that we partner with the platforms with Microsoft. We also have a web application that can take you out to the web that we could capture probably 90% of what's out there. And then we also have things like the Microsoft Office 365. We have Office 365 for Windows, and we have the Power BI, Microsoft Teams. Peter just got done doing a great presentation about putting together a learning portal for your teams. And here you could do it right here with our ClickLearn connector. So with all of these choices, we're going to stay right here with our Microsoft 365 customer engagement. Now ClickLearn knows I can double click, or I could come up here to click the record button. So like Microsoft, we like to offer different ways to get through the same process. Here for recording the languages, this is all about preferences. You will find customizations galore within the ClickLearn application that you will be able to customize the way best suits you and your business. Here, we have 45 different languages, and we use the Microsoft Voice Cloud. We have 140 different dialects, both male and female. I think we have as many as 8 or 10 of English. So as you could see, I have several of them. I've got the US English, Australian English, Indian English. So we have a variety of dialects as well within certain languages. I'm going to stay with our English US, and when I say OK here, ClickLearn is now giving me just a friendly reminder saying wait for the green rectangle to appear before you click anywhere. And I'm going to show you what happens if I don't wait for it, so that way you won't feel so bad if you blow your fingers off. And for the first time, you're probably going to blow your fingers off. So we're going to record, we're going to use the mouse, just grab a couple of steps. Our example today is we're just going to be validating an account. So you could see how to grab those steps, and then we're going to get into some more of the robust functionality of the ClickLearn application. So now I'm going to start my recording. Do I want to start? Yes, I do. ClickLearn is now gone behind my application. You'll notice that there's no kind of a bar up here at the top or down below. ClickLearn is gone behind. And ClickLearn is also cross-platform. So if I wanted to be able to grab, and notice that we have our green highlighting bar. Now you can see that ClickLearn is ready to go. Anywhere that has a link or a field, an element that I can click on, and if I highlight that spot, notice in that top right-hand corner, this is showing that we have a dynamics link. If I want to come up here, we are cross-platform, so we can go outside the application as well. You don't have to shut us down and start up another application. You can seamlessly go from one to the other and come back. So you can see now that the web apps that's on that window. We're going to stay for our demonstration here within our little CRM ecosystem, and I'm going to select, we're going to just simply come over here, I'm going to select an account, and then I'm just going to refresh. Let's go ahead and select all that wander. Let's grab a little sample there. And I'm just going to click really quick over here to show you. It says you must wait for that green rectangle. So now as I go to click through, you're going to see a little red number 1 that's going to follow me. And that's just letting you know it's red, so everybody doesn't like the color red, but it's just letting me know, hey, there's going to be a step that you'll need to take a look at as you go through the editing process, and that's fine. So now here we're going to validate a couple of fields. We're going to validate that phone number field. We have a website here, so we want to validate that. And then you shut your recording down by using the control keys on your keyboard. Now I need to give my recording a name. So if you've got some work processes, some work instructions that you've been following, whether it comes from a business manager or a business analyst, now you have your recording, and you need to be mindful of how you want to title that work instruction. So we have our demonstration here. We're just going to give it a name, and a name that would mean sense if you need to call it a quick reference guide. Some people like to call it a handout, whatever. You can give that file name a title. And then when I save it here, ClickLearn has put it right here, and notice I have this little project highlighted. I have created a project, and my project filter is going to now filter anything that I create and put it into my project GS 2020. If I want to be able to see all my work at a glance, when I first come into my project, you notice that I have it organized by connector. So you could see I have my Microsoft CRM connector that everything is going to fall under. And I do have my project filter. When I take this check out of the box, notice all of my materials now come back for display. So if you are working for multiple companies or businesses, or if you have multiple business units that you want to create individual documentation for, you can simply come here to any of the recordings and you would be able to right click. Notice in this project field, I could right click. Oh, let me just scoot up here a little bit. I could right click on any document. I could come here to the properties, and again, making sure I pick the correct connector, and I can give that item a project name. And then once I've done that, I simply come up here, select my filter, and now I'm going to see all of the materials that are going to go into my Getting Smarter 2020 project. With my recordings here, I have my last one. It's just been put into place. So my CRM validation quick reference guide. With this highlighted, I'm going to come up here and edit. We're going to take a look at it. Here you can see my one little step. It's got a nice target on it. It's bringing my eye to it. And I need to come down here and take a look. All of this templating is done within the ClickLearn application. So anything that you see with the ClickLearn logo, just think of all your branding material being here. Anything that's got the blue coloring for the highlighting, if you have a company color you'd like to use, and even if you have a particular font style, it can all be customized according to your standards. Anything that's here in bold is directly looking at this area, this element. It's reading that source information. So ClickLearn has worked, we're being a partner with Microsoft. We can tell you with 100% certainty that we're going to be able to capture any customized fields that you have, as well as the ones that Microsoft have within the application. So as I come down and I'm looking, here's my step. My step that I've highlighted, and over here on the left-hand side is where I do all of my editing, and on the right side is where you'll see the magic happen. So I'm looking at it, and I can use this. Notice any of my templates has the magnifier that I could pop that up to look at it a little closer, and I'm going to say, yeah, I got a little click happy. So I'm just going to close this down. Now I'm going to come back over to my editor and I'm going to right click on it. I have a couple of choices that I can do. I can choose to delete the step, or I can choose to exclude the step. If I exclude the step, that means that it's just going to go into hiding. And if it does in fact turn out to be a field that I would want to use with a later recording, I could always bring it back out. And so if I choose to exclude it, notice that my steps are gone here. And if I want to return it, if I do realize that I've got that, I can simply come over here to my developer role. And now notice that my click is here, so it's hidden. And if I want to return it back to my steps, I simply click on it. It's now become part of my steps. Have to remember to go back over to my writer role. And, oh, hold on. Where'd he go? So I take my little exclude arrow off. Got ahead of myself. And then here, it's back in my writer role. So once I've looked at it again, I've decided, no, don't want it. Now I'm going to delete it. It's gone. Once you delete, it's gone. I'm looking now, and I do like that Microsoft offers the banners, but if I want to clean my steps up just a little bit, I'm going to close my recording down here from the edit. I was saying, yes, I want to make sure that that deleted step is gone. And with my step highlighted, I'm going to come up here and simply replay. And what the replay function is going to do is it's going to go back in using that recording, that source file recording, and I'm going to take my hand off the mouse, and ClickLearn is actually going to very quickly go back through those steps. So now when I say yes here, I'm going to keep it with my US English. My hand is off the mouse, and in just a minute, you're going to see ClickLearn is going to interact with my CRM system. So here it's going through into my file, my account name. It's going to look at the phone field. It's going to look at that website field, and it's now completed it. So when I say okay here, Additionally, across we have our produce, our publish, and we're going to get into this in a little bit more detail, but for right now, I'm going to produce the material. So when I produce the material and I say okay here, now notice in this lower right-hand corner, I've got a green progression ribbon. And that green progression ribbon is ClickLearn's way of letting me know, hey, we're looking into that recording, that source recorded file. And in just a minute, it's going to pop up a note letting me know that the producer is done. And now we can take a look at all of the formats that have been just created while we were going through. So here from the view drop-down menu, I'm going to look at it from the web page. And the web page, it is an .html, so you can share it. Then you'd be looking at it from a web. Here's where I can also see all of the documentation that's been created. So again, you see that neatly cropped screenshots. You see all of our text, the templating that has been done, and you can work with our customer care team to customize all of the templating to your standard. If you don't like to say to click on the item, if you just wanted to simply say click, all of that customization can be done. Let's take a look quickly here at the downloadable documents. We have a PDF, a Word, and a PowerPoint. So I'm going to open up in the Word. They all open up in their native application. So Word opens up in a Word format. A PDF will open in an Adobe Reader, not the full Adobe Acrobat. And the PowerPoint will open up in PowerPoint as well. Now what we've provided is a little bit of metadata. So you could see things like who the writer or the author of the document is. It'll have a date stamp on it, how many pages long. Here's where the title for my document is as well. This is all customizable too. So if there's other things, if there's versioning stuff you'd like to see in here, if there's other metadata information you'd like to see, that can all be customized. We have those neatly cropped screenshots. And hey, if you'd like to see the screenshots on the left and the text on the right, we can do that too. So here we've gone into the accounts, selected our account. Here's our phone and our website information. The PDF opens and is stylized the same as the Word document, but the PowerPoint here, you can see now ClickLearn had actually gone behind and it actually captured the entire screen. This is excellent if you're going to be conducting any in-classroom training with a large group of people and you need to put something up there on your whiteboard or on the Surface Hub, or if you're going to be in a conference room where you've got a large group of business stakeholders that you would need to make your presentation from, or even in a large conference room. When the day comes that we can all be together again, hopefully we'll see you in Nashville, you'll be able to do your presentation from one of the hub presentation rooms. You could see across the bottom now is where our text is. So that's our the link that the step we created. And then we now have a red rectangle that I can go ahead and follow along through these steps. So when I click, I'm going through in the presentation format. I've got all of my steps to be able to have our explanation about what this process is, what are we going to do. And then once you're done with your presentation here, we have a show me, try me, test me video. And when I start the show me video, I'm just going to show you very quickly.
Click on the item accounts.
That's Miss Sally from the US, and she will happily talk to you and point out all of these steps along the way. I wanted to just show you this one particular one because you can see for all the talking and the movement around, you could see how when I excluded that step, ClickLearn has cleaned up all of those video clicks, all of that mouse movement, so you don't have to go into another editor to clean any of that up. And because we were talking while ClickLearn was doing all the work for us, and hey, it put that language package added, and you can pick away, play to your heart's content about what the instructions are that you would, how you would want that to be spoken in. And then the try me and the test me, the try me does become interactive. So when I click
on the item accounts.
Thank you, Miss Sally. As I click, I'm just simply going to follow through and notice I still have that green the red rectangle, and I can finish through my steps. And we have this optional feedback panel that you'll be able to select. So if I wanted to say, that was great, very clear instructions, and offer my feedback. And then finally, the test me video, it's going to start.
Item accounts.
It's interactive, but now notice I better have been paying attention because I no longer have the red rectangle. So if I come up here and I want to pick on another step, I have 5 attempts. And after that 5th attempt, Now I'm going to go through the steps, click on the link for my All That Wander, and then finish out with my other steps. And oh my dear, now it's time for me to have a meeting as a business manager. I could use this as a coaching tool with my end users so that we could go ahead and make sure that they were very clear that maybe the instructions might need to be updated. And you as the author or the writer of the documentation, you can come back in and easily add another step or make that update. So with that in mind, how can we do that? Gee, let's go ahead and take a look again from within our recording. A few months down the road, they're going to say, you know, you've done a good job with capturing the data for the phone, for updating and validating that in the website, but now we want to grab that fax field because the fax field is something that businesses are still using their facsimile for sending back and forth. So from here, I can update my recording by simply right-clicking on it and choosing to record a new step. And when I do that, ClickLearn goes back behind, and of course you'll have your application open to whatever that field or screen is. And then I wait for that green rectangle, click, use my control keys to shut my recording down. And now I have my 3 fields. So now I have 3 fields all together. I could take, and I'm going to use the control key on my keyboard. I'm going to hold these 3 down and I'm going to group them together. I'm going to make sure that I can update my image a little bit so my end user will be able to see that all 3 of these fields are together here for the account information. Simply say OK here, and I can choose to either have a bulleted list or a numbered list of each step. So when I say yes, keep that tick mark in the checkbox, now my templating has been done by ClickLearn. I have my 1, 2, 3 that has also been done by ClickLearn. I didn't have to worry about going and finding a suitable font, getting the numberings restarted. It's all been taken care of for me. Also, I can use in this particular step above for my All That Wander, if I want to be able to select any of the rows in that column, I simply come over to my left-hand side, my edit section. I'm going to select any row. And ClickLearn does 2 things here too. It updates my text and what I want to say in my template, and it's now expanded that area for the element so I can click on any one of those. Pretty satisfied with all of my changes. So I can go ahead now with my changes done. I'm ready to get this out to my end user. I could also use the replay function for replaying in a different language as well. So if I want to take my screen, and here, let's come back out to our accounts. Yay. And we are going to personalize. Microsoft is great this way. It's going to allow me to personalize the languages. So if my Microsoft instance if English is not my native language, I can set that up for whatever the language is. Here we're going to, for our Canadian French neighbors to the north, if we have any updates that we need to make or any globalization for a different language. So now I've updated my screenshots. I'm just going to bump that one more time, make sure that I have. Cache is clear. And now let's go back here into ClickLearn, highlighting the steps here. And we're going to replay it. And when I say yes, now instead of the US, I'm going to select my Canadian French. And when I say OK, I'm going to take my hand off the mouse. And ClickLearn is going to be looking at that source file that we've just created with all of the documentation and the edits that we've made. And it's going to go through these steps. And it's now going to capture the screens. And it's going to look at my telephone number, my fax number that I added, and my website. ClickLearn did all of that for me. Now from here, when I produce my material, I'm going to keep my check in my English US, my Canadian French, and that green progression bar down here is going to let me know that it's working on creating 14 different documents simultaneously. It's going to be updating all of the English as well as creating all of the Canadian French, and I'm going to come back over here and change my screens around. I love French. I'm not very strong in it. And so now my producer has finished. Yay. Let's open up our, oh. And so now our ClickLearn has also finished. When we view the materials, now notice I have a drop-down arrow for both my English and Canadian French. And we have a translation service as well that you can take that document and I can translate it here. So anything that I've manually entered, such as the title of my document, I can change it from my English US back to my Canadian French. So anything there, and then I would have to, I should have probably done that step first, and then we can go ahead and take a look at the materials. Again, we'll just do our Canadian French. So all of our elements or areas have been updated. You could see that it's also updated the screenshots. It's kept all of the changes and the edits that we made. And it's also included a voice package.
Cliquez sur l'élément compte. Cliquez sur le lien.
And notice how nice and clean the mouse moves across the screen here as well. Again, ClickLearn doesn't waste any time. Nice and neat, it moves right around. So now we have our material. We're very satisfied with what we've created. Now we would take and create the books. And the way you would create a book is you would come here to New, create the book. And then once the book was created, you would give it a name. So think of whatever the category name is. And then you're going to have a blank slate on the right-hand side. Again, ClickLearn works from left to right. So all of the recordings. And if you did, this is where it's very helpful for you to use that project file name, because if you didn't, you would have access to all of your recordings. So if you were creating recordings for other projects, it might look a little too busy. So this is a great way to just compress it down. You could focus only on the documentation for the project that you're working on. And if there were any files such as this one here that we would want to go ahead and add to and we could sort in order. So if we need to have this as our very first step, we could do that as well. So if you have a prerequisite document, you are in control as the writer, as the author all the time. I'll say yes here. And then once we've created our book, now we create our learning portal, and the same step applies. So you would create a new shelf, give that shelf a name, and then any of the books that you had here created, you could drag back and forth. If I don't want this particular book in, I don't have to have it, but if I do want to keep it, if I've decided that I really just want it the other way around, and now I can say yes, save those changes. So then from here, once you've gathered all your information, up here on the books, let me just take a quick step back up here. When you're up here and you've got all of your document, all of your recordings into your book, simply come here to your tools and your preferences, and this is where you're going to put a check mark in the box for building your repository. This is where your live assistant will be added, engaged. And so that way, we're going to now have our books that we've put on our shelf, and with our shelf highlighted, we produce the book, we publish the book, and publishing the book is going to give you that link that you'll then be able to work with our customer care team to put that help link into your Microsoft account. I know we have just a few minutes left here. I just want to point out here is where your link, we have our link in the sandbox. All of this is customizable as well. Your logo, your branding material, the books, all of the icons, totally customizable. You could download your learning portal onto a handheld device if you're going to be working in a remote area of a warehouse, or if you're going to be working out, literally outstanding in a field where there's no Wi-Fi whatsoever. You could download that into a PDF format and have it to be able to visually review and work where you are. You can also look at a glance from this content area at the bottom. When you pop that up, you could see all of the different categories, the books that we've created, and underneath each one of them, all of the different items. So I can go directly, oh, once I see this, yes, I want to add a contact to an account. And so this should look familiar to you. This is an exercise that we had created the materials for, and now here is where your live assistant comes in. So now we can begin the process of actually working live in your application, and I can follow along with the instructions. And then once I get down, I've captured my material. Now I'm going to actually follow along in the steps that they're going to ask me to do. And I can double click through my process, or I can go ahead and add the items that we have here. It's going to take us through all of these steps. And then I can go ahead and stop my my live assistant once I become familiar with all of those steps that I've created. And he'll be up here, ready whenever you want him to be. As long as you have materials created for your live assistant, he'll be there for you. Okay. So real quick, I just have one more quick little thing. Oh, let's get through all of our steps here. I do have a cheat sheet that I created. Everything that we just took a look at, all of those steps, we really covered a lot of ground. Here's the cheat sheet. It's out on my SharePoint site, and any of the materials or the handouts for any of the recordings or the events that you've been to today, we'll probably put this out on our community blog, so you'll be able to pick those documents, that information up from there. And I'm sad to say we may have run out of time.
Completely run out of time.
Completely run out of time.
A lot of great questions in here, and thank you for that amazing presentation, Christine. Unfortunately, we have run over time, so we have to stop this, but the questions we will answer afterwards, and we will post them also in our community, but we will also reach out to you later on with the answers. But unfortunately, no, we don't have time. You went a little bit over, so thank you very much, Christine.
Thank you, Peter. And thanks for stopping by, everyone. Have a good afternoon.